Association football, more commonly known as simply football or soccer,
is a team sport played with a spherical ball between two teams of 11 players.
It is played by approximately 250 million players in over 200 countries and dependencies, making it the world's most popular sport. The game is played on a rectangular field called a pitch with a goal at each end. The object of the game is to score more goals than the opposition by moving the ball beyond the
goal line into the opposing goal, usually within a time frame of 90 or more minutes.
Football is played in accordance with a set of rules known as the laws of the game. The ball is 68-70 centimeters, 27 to 28 in circumference and known as the football. The two teams compete to get the ball into the other team's goal, between the posts and under the bar, thereby scoring a goal. Players are not allowed to touch the ball with hands or arms while it is in play, except for the goalkeepers within the penalty area. Players may use any other part of their body to strike or pass the ball, and mainly use their feet. The team that scores more goals at the end of the game is the winner. If both teams have scored an equal number of goals, either a draw is declared or the game goes into extra time or a penalty shootout, depending on the format of the competition. Each team is led by a captain who has only one official responsibility as mandated by the laws of the game, to represent their team in the coin toss prior to kick-off or penalty kicks. Football is governed internationally by the International Federation of Association Football, FIFA,
French,
Fédération Internationale de Football Association, which organizes World Cups for men and women every 4 years. The Men's FIFA World Cup has taken place every 4 years since 1930. With the exception of 1942 and 1946 tournaments, which were cancelled due to World War II. Approximately 190 to 200 national teams compete in qualifying tournaments within the scope of continental confederations for a place in the finals. The finals tournament is held every 4 years and involves 32 national teams competing over 4 weeks. It is the most prestigious men's football tournament in the world, and the most widely viewed and followed sporting event in the world, exceeding the Olympic Games. Similarly, the FIFA Women's World Cup has been played every 4 years since 1991. Though football has been played by women since it has existed. A record-breaking 1.12 billion viewers watched the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup in France. The most prestigious competitions in European club football are the UEFA Champions League and UEFA Women's Champions League, which attract an extensive television audience throughout the world. The final of the men's tournament has been, in recent years, the most watched annual sporting event in the world. The top 5 European men's leagues are the Premier League, England, La Liga, Spain, Bundesliga, Germany,
Serie A,
Italy, and Ligue 1, France. Attracting most of the world's best players. Each of the leagues has a total wage cost in excess of £600 million per €763 million per $1.185 billion United States dollars.
Football is one of a family of football codes,
which emerged from various ball games played worldwide since antiquity. The term soccer comes from Oxford slang, which was prevalent at Oxford University in England from about 1875, and is thought to have been borrowed from the slang of rugby school. The slang also gave rise to rugger for rugby football, fiver and tenner for a £5 and £10 note, and the now archaic footer for association football. The word soccer, which arrived at its final form in 1895, was first recorded in 1889 in the earlier form of soccer. Within the English-speaking world, association football is now usually called football in Great Britain and most of Ulster in the north of Ireland.
whereas people usually call it soccer in regions and countries where other codes of football are prevalent, such as Australia, Canada, South Africa, most of Ireland,
excluding Ulster, and the United States. A notable exception is New Zealand, where in the first 2 decades of the 21st century, under the influence of international television, football has been gaining prevalence. Despite the dominance of other codes of football, namely rugby union and rugby league, kicking ball games arose independently multiple times across multiple cultures. The Chinese competitive game Cuju, Ju, literally kick ball, resembles modern association football. Cuju players could use any part of the body apart from hands, and the intent was kicking a ball through an opening into a net. During the Han Dynasty, 206 BCE to 220 CE, Cuju games were standardized and rules were established. Faninda and Episkairos were Greek ball games. An image of an Episkairos player depicted in low relief on a vase at the National Archaeological Museum of Athens appears on the UEFA European Championship trophy. Athenaeus, writing in 228 CE, referenced the Roman ball game harpaschum. Faninda, Episkairos and harpaschum were played involving hands and violence. They all appear to have resembled rugby football,
wrestling and volleyball more than what is recognizable as modern football. As with pre-codified, mob football,
the antecedent of all modern football codes, these 3 games involved more handling the ball than kicking. Other games included Kamari in Japan and Chukji UK in Korea. In North America, Passaquoddy was a ball game played by the Algonquins. It was described as almost identical to the kind of folk football being played in Europe at the same time, in which the ball was kicked through goals. Association football in itself does not have a classical history. Notwithstanding any similarities to other ball games played around the world, FIFA has recognized that no historical connection exists with any game played in antiquity outside Europe. The modern rules of association football are based on the mid-19th century efforts to standardize the widely varying forms of football played in the public schools of England.
The history of football in England dates back to at least the 8th century CE.